My name is Kerrie, and my goal is to inspire healing and meaning in all areas of life. In this podcast, we will dive deep into conversations. From heartbreak to freedom, we will explore different self-care modalities, learn to be the best expressions of ourselves, and to live with purpose. I'm here to offer my personal insights and to share my story in hopes that it will guide you on your path. This is Heal with Care, a journey of self-discovery. Being visible in my community has opened the door to a lot of reflection. I've been contemplating about the power of words, how every word carries a vibration, and how important it is to be intentional on how we use them. I'm going to say right now that I am not perfect with words, but I do my best when it comes to explaining what it is that I have to say. Each time someone shared their thoughts or opinions with me, I found myself second-guessing or questioning my path, including the words I chose to describe me and my services. Yes, there are people out there who are judging me, and that's okay. They are entitled to their own thoughts. What many people may not realize is how much thought and care I put into the language I use. I want my offerings to be as clear and aligned as possible. One word I had to sit with for a long time is the word healer. As a spiritual entrepreneur, I wanted to find a word that encompassed all that I do. Eventually, I landed on calling myself an intuitive energy healer. But the truth is, I've wrestled with that name because of the word healer. For years, I had hesitation on using this word. I was cringing inside, feeling like an imposter, and questioning if I'm worthy of that title. In today's episode, I want to share why I ultimately chose to call myself an intuitive energy healer, what it means to me, and how I've come to embrace it in the work that I do. When I think back to the beginning of my healing journey, I remember knowing deep down in my heart that I needed to heal. Not because I was broken, but because I wanted something more for myself, and I knew there had to be more to life than this. At one point, I could feel I was out of alignment. I didn't have the energy to keep going, and I knew something had to change. But that change wasn't easy. It was a huge risk. My job was my source of income, my stability, and my survival. Quitting because my job didn't feel good wasn't a good enough reason to leave. It brought up feelings of embarrassment and shame. And having to admit that I couldn't handle the environment and stress made me feel like a failure. What I didn't realize at the time was that the environment simply wasn't right for me. The stress it caused eventually led me to take a leave of absence. The time away from work gave me the space and grace I needed to find myself. And that is healing for me. Coming back to who I truly am, reconnecting with myself, and choosing to feel good in my own body. During this time off, I began developing my intuition through mediumship, and over time, I noticed a powerful shift within me. The more I turned inward, the more I began to see life through a whole new perspective. First of all, I was completely amazed that I could even do this. Second of all, I found myself becoming a much more happier person, seeing the signs from the universe, learning to trust the timing of it all, and having faith that the universe will catch me when I decide to take huge leaps. It was truly life-changing. Sometimes it felt like it was an inside joke that I shared with the universe. Freedom is something that I've always struggled with. I often felt claustrophobic, like there was never enough physical space for me. My room always felt too small, my environment too cramped. No matter how much I decluttered or reorganized, I still didn't feel like it was enough. Looking back, I think I was subconsciously searching for freedom in my surroundings. But what I'm now realizing is that I was truly craving the freedom to express myself fully. For a long time, I didn't know how I was going to achieve that. But the more I trusted my path and gave myself permission to express it more authentically, the more at peace and happier I became. I've realized that so many of us crave that freedom and are still trying to navigate through it. It's not easy to fully embrace who you are at the core. especially when who you truly are doesn't always align with the people around you. We all want to fit in and to belong, but the fear of not being accepted often keeps us from living as our true selves. I believe healing is the process of shedding that fear, of coming out and living the life you truly desire, authentically, unapologetically, and freely. In recent conversations, I've heard people in the spiritual community say things like, I don't use the word healer, or don't call yourself a healer. You're not healing someone, they're healing themselves. And logically, I understand where they're coming from. Healing only happens when someone is truly ready. And I know that from my own experience. If I wasn't ready to make a change, it wouldn't have happened for me. But I know that I was determined to do whatever it took to find that freedom. And to be honest, healing is always a work in progress. The more aware I become, the quicker I can move through things that surface within me. And each day, life will continue to present situations that will test me. In those times, I see it as an invitation to check in with myself and to ask, how am I really feeling and what do I truly believe? As you can probably tell, I'm someone who contemplates a lot. To me, the word healer means being someone who holds space. It's about creating an environment where others feel safe enough to fully let go all of their burdens and surrender. We carry so much tension every day, especially in North America, where life is fast-paced, competitive, and individualistic. Many of us are doing it all on our own, without community, and that can be very difficult. My sessions are not a cure, but some of the most powerful sessions that I've witnessed were with people who simply needed to give themselves time and space to just be. The shift only happens when you're ready. And when that moment comes, I see my role as a witness in their healing process. I am simply someone who gently supports them, holds space, and honors where they are on their journey. When I was searching for a name for my podcast, I sat in meditation and I asked Spirit to guide me. What came through was my podcast name, Heal with Care. It felt like a gift, a play on words that blended care, as in caring for someone, but with a short form of my own name. To me, it represents a journey alongside me, a space where I share my personal experiences of coming home to myself, being able to express how I feel, and how I move through life with honesty and vulnerability. I believe it's all about the intention behind the name. Even though some people may have strong opinions about it, I've had to ask myself, what does it mean to me? Lately, I've noticed myself holding back from sharing certain things out of fear. Fear that I might offend someone or be misunderstood. And the more I sit with that, the more I realized that way of thinking is tied to wanting to please every single person. But the truth is, there are just way too many people out there in the world, and I realize I'm not here to please them. I'm learning to step into what feels right for me. Not everyone will connect with what I have to say, and that's okay. I know I'm not for everyone, but I trust that the people who are meant to hear my message will hear it. So, to wrap up this episode, I chose to call myself an intuitive energy healer because that's truly what my work is. It's guided, it's felt, it's deeply intuitive. In every session, I tune into the energy because I believe we're all energy and that we're all connected. Whether it's offering a new perspective, receiving psychic impressions, or simply holding space for someone to feel safe and seen, I trust in the process. Spirit led me to this path long before I understood it. Those subtle whispers I once ignored, they were guidance. I was nudged towards Reiki. I was nudged towards sound healing. I was nudged towards mediumship. And I'm so grateful that I listened. As I sit here recording this, I realize how much freedom I've gained over the past year, not just in my external world, but in how I feel, how I show up, how I speak, and how I live. So if you're feeling stuck or lacking freedom in your life, I invite you to pause and ask yourself, where am I holding myself back? What truth am I not speaking? What action am I not taking? Because what I've come to realize is that freedom isn't just about the time or money. It's about how you're able to express yourself. It's about allowing yourself to fully be who you are. And that journey begins the moment you start listening to your inner voice and stepping out into the world and showing exactly who you are. Thank you so much for listening in. I hope you found this episode insightful. If you feel called to, please share this podcast, subscribe to it, and leave a rating and review. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can email me at healwithcare@gmail.com or follow me on Instagram at healwithcare. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next episode.